This is a mother's most desperate moment. Her daughter was bitten on the neck by a lion. The cub struggled desperately, constantly sending out distress signals to her mother. But Saba was helpless. She was forced to watch the entire process because she knew she was no match for the lion. Yet great maternal love prompted Saba to bravely step forward, but the lion's majesty was not so easily provoked. Soon she was chased up a tree by the lion. The lioness did this not because she wanted to eat the leopard cub, but rather to assert her dominance. Only when the cub had completely lost hope of survival did the lion place it on the ground, declaring herself the ruler of this land. Only after the lion had completely left did Saba dare approach her daughter. She gently licked her fur and carefully picked up her own daughter, just as she had when she was newborn. She was unwilling to believe her child was gone like this, and this also began to kindle a desire for revenge in Saba's heart. Not long after, Zambia welcomed the long-awaited rainy season. This meant more food would be available. In order to raise her remaining cub, Saba hunted down an antelope alone. But this did not mean the food was hers to keep. Hungry hyenas witnessed Saba's entire hunting process. They approached her without restraint, but Saba had no intention of yielding. Yet those seeking free meals were not just the hyenas. Not far away, a lioness also heard the commotion and came. Saba tried to take the prey away, but dragging the antelope slowed her down. Countless predators kept closing in. An unfamiliar lioness launched the first attack. This lioness was the very killer of Saba's daughter. Facing the lioness's attack, Saba could only flee in panic, but the desire for revenge in her heart grew increasingly intense. She stared firmly at the lions that sought easy prey, then turned and walked toward the lion pride's territory without looking back. She was no longer weak now. She was determined that the lioness must pay blood for blood. Soon Saba arrived at the lion pride's territory, but there was still a group of lionesses guarding the vulnerable cubs. The young cubs innocently played around the territory, completely unaware that danger was coming. Just then, a lone antelope suddenly appeared in the lion pride's territory. Facing food delivered to their doorstep, the lionesses would not refuse. The antelope quickly spotted the lionesses closing in and fled into the distance without looking back. The lionesses chased after it until it disappeared from Saba's view. Saba seized the opportunity and rushed toward the cubs. Not long after, the cub's mother returned to the territory. She smelled the scent of another predator and anxiously counted her children's numbers, but she discovered one was missing. She kept calling for the lost cub, but received no response. Finally, she found her child, but what made her desperate was that Saba was devouring her own child right before her eyes. The lioness seemed to recognize Saba. She also understood that perhaps this was a life for a life. Not long after, Saba also returned to her own territory. She lay quietly on the tree branch and seemed to feel no joy at her revenge's success. Because she too was a mother. She understood better than anyone the pain of losing a child. This was certainly cruel, but it was also the law of survival in nature.